All right, welcome to the second part where I provide you a second example of another triangle proofs where we're going to prove that these two triangles are congruent. So triangle UVY is congruent to triangle XVW. So again, the thing that I want you to do is I want you to look at your given and then figure out what you need to do there. Figure out what you need to mark on your picture. So we have V is the midpoint of YV. So here's V, which is the middle point, and it is the middle point of segment YW. Okay? So that's going to be very, very helpful. So what does the midpoint do to the segment? Well, that means that this segment here and this segment here, these parts of the whole segment are congruent to each other. So YV is congruent to VW. So let's go ahead and mark that with one tick mark there and one tick mark there. Okay, so YV is congruent to VW, and that's because of definition of midpoint. Okay, now yes, there's a point V, but in our given, it doesn't say that V is the midpoint of UX. So we cannot assume that V is the middle point, and we cannot just put tick marks there. That's not going to happen because it's not stated in our given. Okay, the other thing that I noticed from the given is that segment UY is parallel to segment XW. Now, when I see parallel lines, that means that we're going to have alternate interior angles. Okay, and that's from unit 4. So let's go ahead and extend the lines. And the diagonals will be our transversal. So transversal 1 and then transversal 2. Okay, so that means that we have an angle here congruent to this angle there, and then this angle here is congruent to that angle there. Alternate interior angles. Okay, and for the heck of it, just in case, if we need vertical angles, we'll just put 3 arcs here, 3 arcs there. Okay. Is there anything else I need to mark on my picture? Now, I think I'm good with the given. I've checked everything off. Do I need to mark anything else that's not part of our given? We did mark the vertical angles, but is there anything else that I need to look at? I don't think so, so I can go ahead and proceed with the proof. All right, so take a look at number 1. Of course, we're just going to copy and paste the given to our first statement and then write given for a reason. So this is given. And then number 5 should be what you're trying to prove. Okay, so let's go ahead and see. We know that because V is the midpoint of YW, that means that we have one part there and one part there. They are congruent, so we can write YV is congruent to VW, and that's because of definition of midpoint. Okay, and then let's see. We know that this angle here and this angle here, they are congruent because of the alternate interior angles. Remember, we have 2 lines that are parallel cut by this transversal here. That means that this angle and this angle are congruent to the fact they are alternate and they are inside the parallel line. So how do we write this? We can say, because U is the vertex, or it's the middle, we should write Y, U, V, and that's how you show or express that angle. So angle Y, U, V is congruent. So I have one arc here, then one arc there. So I need to write this, the middle for my, because it's my vertex, VXW. Angle VXW. VXW. And that's because of alternate interior angles. Okay. Now, I could include the vertical angles, but take a look. If we zoom in, look at that. We have one arc here and one arc there. Let's write an angle. I have 2 arcs here and 2 arcs there. I can go ahead, oops. I can write angle here and then an angle there and an angle here because I have two arcs, right? And then notice that we have a side here and a side there, one tick mark there, one tick mark there. They're congruent, so I can put S and an S for side. So if I put an angle, I'm going to get angle, angle, angle. And angle, angle, angle isn't one of my postulates there, so I need to just forget about the vertical angles that we marked. But, you know, good for you that you saw that and you noticed that. But to prove that these two triangles are congruent, notice that we have an angle, angle, and then the side right after that, right? The side is not included. It's not between the two angles there. So AAS will be enough to show that these two triangles are congruent. The fact that we have one angle congruent to another angle, we have to write the other angle congruent to the other angle. So this angle, because it has two arcs there, is congruent to this angle, which also has two arcs there. So how do we write this? How do we express this? How do we put, everything in order? So we can write angle UYV, because Y has to be in the middle. It's the vertex. Angle Y, sorry, not YUV, UYV is congruent to VWX. Angle VWX. VWX. Okay, and that's because of alternate interior angles. Okay, now number 5, we already talked about angle, angle, side, angle, angle, side. That is going to show that these two triangles are congruent.